Morning, gentlemen. Now, as expected, after every terror incident that has taken place in India, and I have got experience of last 40 years almost, India's leadership responds with strong rhetoric. Aar par ki ladai, like we did after Parliament was attacked. Then we'll punish the perpetrators of violence after Mumbai attacks in 2008. The Prime Minister then announced this. But this time, no missiles, no surgical strikes, just one terse declaration. India is suspending the Indus Water Treaty until Pakistan credibly stops cross-border terrorism. Now, this Indus Water Treaty was brokered by the World Bank in 1960 after a series of many years of negotiations, almost 10 years. This divides the six rivers, the water of six rivers between India and Pakistan. And that had to happen at some time because Pakistan is a low riparian state. Like we are as far as Brahmaputra is concerned, because it comes from China, right? So we are a low riparian state. Now, this treaty said that India would control the waters of eastern rivers, that is Ravi, Beas and Satluj. And Pakistan gets water from the western rivers, that is Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, that are actually flowing through Indian territory. Now, India uses almost 95% of the share of eastern rivers, that is Ravi, Beas and Satluj, जो हम टैप नहीं कर पा रहे और उस पर हम डैम्स बनाने की कोशिश तो कर रहे हैं लेकिन वो हो नहीं पा रहा because of certain reasons के economically unviable हैं या land acquisition difficulty आ रही है जैसे शाहपुर कांडी ऊंच and सतलज ब्यास लिंक तो इसमें ये दिक्कत आ रही है तो वो 5% पानी उसका अभी भी पाकिस्तान चला जाता है जो हम टैप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं meanwhile Pakistan heavily depends on the western rivers 3 rivers western rivers उसका 80% जो एग्रीकल्चर है इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन द मेजर जो सिटीज हैं उसके लाइक लाहौर कराची दे ड्रॉ देयर वाटर फ्रॉम दैट देन हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कई सारे शहरों के पूरे रीजन की इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वहीं से आ रही सो टुगेदर दीज वाटर्स कंट्रीब्यूट टू ऑलमोस्ट 25% ऑफ इट्स जीडीपी सो द पॉइंट इज कैन रियली इंडिया शट द टैप हम ट्रीटी से विड्रॉ हो गए सब अब नहीं नॉट येट Under the treaty, India could build run-of-the-river projects that could generate power. It basically means that you can divert the flow of the river to generate electricity, but not to store, right? And you cannot halt the flow of the water. So that's why Kishanganga, Baglehar projects were created primarily for this. For what? Producing electricity. So they are not big storage dams and so India cannot as of now fully control the flow into Pakistan. It cannot block the flow, right? Unless it changes the design now or build massive dams. So Kishanganga Dam तो operational हुआ 2007 में start हुआ और बनते बनते 2018 हो गए तो almost 10 साल में complete हुआ, right? Another dam रातले डैम चिनाब पे है is under construction. वो भी रन ऑफ द रिवर है जिसमें आप बेसिकली इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं लेकिन फ्लो रोक नहीं सकते स्टोर नहीं कर सकते सो नाउ दैट द ट्रीटी इज सस्पेंडेड सो इंडिया कैन थिंक ऑफ रीडिजाइनिंग द डैम्स इन फ्यूचर टू इंक्लूड स्टोरेज बट इट कैन नाउ कैरी आउट द फ्लशिंग ऑपरेशंस जो कि चैनल्स को साफ करने के जिससे सिल्टेशन वगैरह ना हो दैट इट कैन डू एनी टाइम एंड दैट इट कैन डू एट अ टाइम व्हेन पाकिस्तान नीड्स इट मोर राइट सो दैट वे वी कैन फिक्स देम बट लेट्स बी वेरी क्लियर इट इज गोइंग टू डेवलपिंग सच इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ह्यूज डैम्स इज गोइंग टू टेक डिकेड्स जहां पे हमारे पास स्टोरेज फैसिलिटी नाउ इन एडिशन टू दिस बट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एज पर द वर्डिंग ऑफ इंडस Water Treaty, neither party can unilaterally exit the policy or the treaty, nor can it stop the flow of water entirely. So, India can reduce the flow of water through provisions under Article 3 of the IWT. So, it can reduce the flow by diverting for electricity and all that. But it cannot stop it and it cannot exit the treaty unilaterally. Now, this is as per the IWT. Now, in this world, when treaties are being flouted, nobody is honoring the treaties, all major powers. So, even this treaty, Pakistan can go to Indus, to the International Court of Justice, but then we will see what happens then. So, as of now, we can now redesign the dams to store water and we can really control the flow. But it will take years. So as of now, it is not. So these claims like Pakistan will die of thirst, India has turned off the tap, they are all premature and misleading. The truth is the tap is open. But the restraint behind it, that agreement is, of course, it has gone, it has been lifted. But as of now, it cannot shut the tap. Now, in retaliation, what has Pakistan done? Pakistan has walked out of the 1972 Simla Agreement, a peace accord. We all know it was signed after the war, 1971 war, where Pakistan lost miserably. लेकिन उसके दो की पॉइंट्स थे. पहला की पॉइंट था कि all the disputes between India and Pakistan, and major dispute is Kashmir, must be resolved, will be resolved bilaterally without any third party intervention. और इस clause का हम लोग भरपूर इस्तेमाल कर रहे थे. Whenever Pakistan approached UNO or US for to mediate in the Kashmir issue, VL said no, as per the Simla Agreement, we will adhere to Simla Agreement and it is a bilateral issue which will be resolved bilaterally without any third party. Right? The second was the LOC. It was agreed upon that no party can unilaterally change the line of control. Right? कि आप उस एरिया में आ जाओ, मेरे एरिया में घुस गए और ऑक्युपाई कर लिया, तो वो चीज अब चेंज हो गई. So it became kind of a de facto border between the two. Although nobody adhered to this agreement in its total spirit, because Kargil hua, so Pakistan intruded across and occupied territory inside across the LOC in our country, and we also went to Siachen and occupied it, although Siachen that time was not demarcated and was not part of the LOC, it was beyond that, right? So anyway, but the sanctity was lost. However, once again, coming to the same thing, that in this world today, the geopolitical situation is such, when no country, all major powers are flouting rules, the agreements and the rules are being flouted. Let's see where it takes us all. Now, Pakistan has got certain options. It can go to International Court of Justice and World Bank, or it can go to China for help. And any escalation in terms of war or in terms of any trade retaliation, Pakistan's economy is too fragile for that. Now, just before the attack, Pakistan's Army Chief General Munir, in one of the lectures that he delivered, he upheld the two-nation theory, glorifying Islamist ideology, and reaffirmed support for Kashmir's insurgency. So it's very clear the military establishment is not backing down. However, my view is that Pakistan Army has lost a lot of support within the country. Its image has been dented. The way it dealt with Imran Khan's party and the way it is handling insurgency in Balochistan and elsewhere, it might have used Kashmir to regain its image, right, and build its image. India has to ask itself, because this terror attack that happened, rather it had few aims. One, Pakistan wanted to prove that in Kashmir there is no peace still. Right? The group that it has named, which is basically an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Toiba, they want to project that it's a local group, revolutionary group, which is not happy with what has happened the country, revocation of, abrogation of Article 370 and all that, right? So they want to project it that it's an indigenous movement. वो बहुत समय से लगे हुए हैं. Whether they will be able to do it or not, that's a different issue. Yeah. But the second they want to now emphasize is the two nation theory, right? That the Hindus and Muslims are two separate nations and they cannot live together. That's what Jinnah had said. Now India has to, and Indian government has to now ask, and we all need to ask a deeper question then. Do we still reject the two nation theory? Or are we acting in a way that reinforce it? Earlier, it was easy for us because we could openly say that India is against the two nation theory. So whatever Pakistan may do and carry out terror acts in India, the Hindus and Muslims of India will stand unitedly. And in this crisis, at this time, we too, the two communities, must stand united and fight Pakistan's evil designs. Pakistan may uphold two nation theory, but we don't, and we should not. Pakistan will repeatedly utilize this proxy war, these attacks, to prove and uphold the two nation theory, to divide a wedge between the two communities, the Hindus and Muslims in India. But we must stay united. Come what may, mitigation, whatever Pakistan does, we must stay united. Thank you. Jai Hind.